Hello? I'm Preston Foster, coming your way with another episode of Waterfront.
Okay, Vince, get that stuff out and hurry. You haven't got all day.
I'll give you a hand?
No, thanks. That's all right. I'll take care of that.
That's all, huh? Funny way to pack it. Hi, Reese.
John?
I'd like to have that guy handling eggs for me.
Carelessness, that's all. If it was their own property, they'd be more careful. What brings you here, John?
Checking a ship and moving out. See you, Reese.
All right, get that crate out and be quick. It's a good thing Captain Herrick was in a hurry.
John!
It's me. Could that be cauliflower I smell and stewed tripe?
Yes, it is, dear.
Does that mean you've invited that...
Cora Henderson. I have, and that's her favorite dish.
You know I can't stand stewed tripe and cauliflower any more than I can stand a whining female.
You're exaggerating, dear.
The only topic of conversation is how she sacrificed her whole life for a daughter who's ungrateful enough to have reached the ripe old age of 30 without getting married. Helen coming too?
Yes, she is.
I don't mind Helen, but that mother of hers and stewed tripe and cauliflower brother.
Oh, darling, don't be upset. I'm broiling you a 1.5 pound T-bone steak.
Steak? Pound and a half. Back on a diet, huh?
And Cora called this afternoon to tell me that Helen's going with a nice young man and expects to get married. So I don't think we'll be having any talk about her turning into an old maid.
She'll find something to moan about. Well, I get my stuff.
But for the time being, I'll probably stay with Helen and Bob till they get settled, or until I can find a smaller apartment of my own.
Well, that sounds like a good idea. Don't you think so, John?
Huh?
I said, don't you think it's a good idea, Cora finding a smaller apartment for herself?
Yeah, it's a fine idea. I was never in favor of in-laws living with their children. It's a sure way to wreck a marriage is for in-laws to...
Oh, of course, I think it's all right if they stay just for a short while till they get settled. After all, there are certain things.
I don't think it's all right under any circumstances. Well, that's just my opinion, you see. It's not necessarily the truth. You're the ones getting married, Helen. What do you think?
Well, Mother and I... Helen thinks about it just the way I think about it. She knows that the only thing I want is to see her marriage get off on the right foot.
Yeah, but whose? Well, honey, let me.
Hello, Dad.
Hi, Jim.
I just got off duty, Dad, and Oh, hello, Mrs. Henderson. Helen. Hiya, Mom.
I guess you haven't heard about Helen. She's going to be married.
Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
I was just telling Mrs.
Mom.
Herrick that...
Will you excuse me, Mrs. Herrick? I have some work I have to do at the office.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
Well, thank you very much. I had a lovely time.
I'm glad.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You know, you've no idea how little time there is to decide
Well,
on Helen's
night, Captain John.
Good night, Helen.
Night, Jim.
Night, Helen.
You saved my life. I had about all I could take of that windbag.
I got the impression.
Helen was smart. She'd keep her young man and her mother apart until she marries him.
Why does Helen put up with it? She makes a good salary.
Sense of loyalty, I guess. What's bothering you?
You know me pretty well, don't you, Dan? Well, it looks like I'm being transferred from the Waterfront area. Probably West End. If I go there, it'll be a step down in grade.
What's the trouble?
Cargo's being stolen and pilfered from docks and warehouses. shipments that get switched or changed in transit. A manufacturer in Rio gets a shipment from the United States. Papers are in order, crates are properly marked. Then he opens those crates. But instead of finding the expensive dyes he's ordered, he's liable to get something like nails or sawdust.
That's nice.
Yeah, and it works the other way around, too. Shipments that come from abroad. Manufacturers order expensive binoculars, he's liable to get something like,
Salt?
yeah, salt.
Have they used salt in some of those shipments that were switched?
Yeah, why?
Well, I was on the dock at Consolidated this afternoon. One of the truckers smashed open a crate. It was full of salt. Seemed funny to me they'd pack it that way instead of in barrels.
Did you notice the markings on the crate or who it was consigned to?
Oh, but Reese, the checker, ought to be able to tell you. He was right there when it happened.
My dad, if he can tell us that, would be the closest to tracing the shipment.
Why don't you ask Helen? She might know something. She's a secretary at Consolidated, you know.
Yeah, I know, but let's not tell Helen anything yet. I would like to talk to Reese, though.
I'll take you there.
Fine.
Modern furniture of all things. I think it's perfectly ridiculous for Helen to even think of it. Modern furniture. I think it's perfectly...
Let's go before she comes out here.
If I had to remember every crate that was smashed during the day, I'd wind up in a nut house.
Try to remember this. When I went by this morning, a trucker dropped a crate of salt right there. I remember because it seemed a funny way to pack it.
Come to think of it, I do remember a crate being dropped when you went by, but I didn't pay much attention to it. I had a big load to get through today.
Mind if we check your record?
Not at all. I'd like to help all I can. If salt did come through, it'll show in my journal. We list contents alphabetically.
Fine, let's take a look then, huh?
Sure. Nope. No record of any salt shipment.
Is that complete?
It was picked up and delivered to Consolidated. It would be listed here.
Maybe somebody made a mistake.
Or it could have been shipped under a phony label.
Yeah, that's possible, but it's too late to check now, even if we wanted to. Most of this stuff that was taken in is already on its way. Tough rate.
Yeah, tough freight. Well, let us know if you run across any salt, will you, Mr. Reese?
Sure will.
Thanks very much.
It was one of your first clues. You know he's lying, don't you?
I'm afraid so, Dad. Hi, sweetie.
What's wrong, honey? Come on, what's the matter, Helen?
I think you know what's wrong, Bob.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's necessary to explain, but I will if you want me to.
Oh. When'd you find out?
I began to suspect yesterday when you asked me to protect Reese's job and change the warehouse records to fit his. I knew you were never that good friends. And just a few minutes ago, I checked our insurance records to find out what happened to some of the cargoes I gave you advance information on. Tell them I really believed your story, that you were making a deal with a freight salesman who was cutting you in on tips.
All right, Helen, all right.
Do you love me, Bob? You weren't just using me. How could you do this?
Because for once I wanted to start out with something. It looked so simple, so easy. I just fell into it the first time. I accidentally said something to Reese about one of the shipments you mentioned to me. A couple of days later, he handed me $100 and said, if you get any more information like that, there's some real money waiting for you. That was the day after we were out looking for bedroom furniture. And you admired that bedroom suite. I kept the $100.
And then you made up that story about tips just to get more information from me.
No, that was Reese's idea. After the first money, they had me hooked. I must say, I didn't fight it too hard the next few times. When I was ready to quit, they had me. They still have me.
Bob, we'll go to Jim Herrick.
Who's Jim Herrick?
He's a neighbor of ours. He's a plainclothes detective. He stopped by the other night when Mother and I were at the Herricks.
What do you want?
But I don't know. He and his father, Captain John, were out on the front porch talking about something. But, Bob, we must go talk.
It's no use, Helen. I'm not ready to go to jail, and that's exactly what it would mean. Helen, I'm in love with you. I want to make a life for us. We'll work this out. Believe me, I'll get out of it somehow. Captain John. I'm Bob Vogler. I'm engaged to Helen Henderson.
Oh, how are you?
I'm fine. I was making a delivery on the wharf, and I saw the Cheryl Ann come in. Helen's told me so much about you and Miss Herrick, I feel I know you both.
Heard a lot about you, too, from Helen's mother. I see you with Brighton Freight. Pretty big outfit. How do you like it?
Oh, they're okay. Been having a little bit of trouble lately, though.
How's that?
Oh, Brighton's got caught in the dock racket a few times. Lost a couple of big accounts, and they may lay off some of us drivers.
Oh, it may not be that bad.
I suppose you know about the switch rackets.
Heard a little bit about it.
Understand a lot of it's going on. Helen tells me your son's on the Waterfront detail. I guess the police are plenty busy on that deal.
They'll clean it up. They always do.
Yeah, guess they do.
You got a mighty fine girl in Helen. Hope to see you again sometime.
It's nice to meet you, Captain.
Hello, dear.
Oh, hello, Mother.
I was just on my way home, and I thought you might be ready to go.
Well, I have some important work to do.
You haven't forgotten that Bob's picking you up for dinner tonight, have you? Men are all alike. Take you out every night till they marry you. And then you have to pry them loose with a crowbar to get them out of the house.
Mother.
You're a very lucky girl, Helen. You don't want to work in an office all your life. Not when you can marry Bob Brolin.
Mother, please. I'm not going to see Bob tonight, and I'm thinking of breaking our engagement.
Helen, are you crazy? A man, a handsome young man, all ready to marry you, and you...
Oh, it's probably just a lover's quarrel. Now stop all this nonsense and get your coat. I'm going to take you home before you do something you'll be sorry for all the rest of your life.
Mother, you just don't know.
Now listen to me, my girl. You're almost 30 right now, and Bob Brolin is the first man that's ever asked you to marry him. Maybe the last, too.
I can't help that.
You certainly can. Now, Bob loves you. I'm sure of it. Whatever he's done, he's probably sorry for it right now. You'll see. I'll get your coat.
All right, Mother. Thanks a lot for the ride, Captain John.
Glad to. Still like your job here?
Oh, sure.
Ever get out on the dock?
Oh, practically never. My work's all inside.
I thought maybe you'd have a chance to see Bob once in a while during the day. He still drives in here, doesn't he?
I guess so, sometimes. Well, I'm late, Captain John. You'll forgive me if I run.
Sure.
Say hello to Mrs. Herrick.
All right.
What are you doing here?
Does it bother you, Vogler?
Okay, what am I supposed to pick up?
What's your hurry? Take it easy.
Look, Reese, all I want to do
I
is...
saw your girlfriend this morning. John Herrick.
That's nothing. They happen to be neighbors.
His son happens to be a cop.
Reese, you don't have to worry about my girlfriend. She won't talk to anyone, particularly Herrick.
So you have told her.
Well, I had to tell her a little to get the information you wanted, but nothing important.
She know about me?
No, she doesn't. Look, Reese, I'm telling you the truth.
Sounds like that's your freight coming now. Now look, as soon as we get those 3 crates loaded into the truck, be sure and check with the gateman on your way out so he'll know this is a regularly scheduled Wilson delivery.
You sure think of everything.
Yeah, come on. exactly what to do.
Yep.
Even I don't know what's in those 3 crates this time, but the word's out they're top grade. Now hurry along and you'll get your instructions for final delivery at warehouse number 3.
Okay.
Come on, I'll help you.
Hey, take it easy. Those are microscopes.
Weigh a ton.
They cost a ton. Let's weigh them and see how accurate you were this time in building your 3 phony models. Okay, now this phony reads exactly 126 and a half pounds, so take it off and let's weigh the original. That's not bad, Vince. Not bad at all. It's within half a pound. All right, let's get the artwork on the models fast and the other 2 originals.
Captain John, this is Helen.
Hello, Helen. How are you?
I'm afraid I have a problem. A big problem. It's about Bob and I, and, well, can I come over there and talk to you tonight? I'm sorry to bother you at such a late hour, but
Not at all. Come on over anytime. I'll be right here with my paper.
Wonderful, thank you. I have a little work here to do. It'll take me about a half an hour. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, look them over. Which one's the phony?
Nice work, Vince. Let's go, Bob. Bob.
Yeah.
This is the hottest switch we ever made. They told me to tell you there's a fat extra bonus to you.
Who told you?
Never mind. There's a fat extra bonus to you for getting those 3 models to berth 128 at exactly 10 o'clock. Now, Harding is going to meet you there, and he's going to help you transfer them back into the motorboat for return to the piers that the originals came from. You understand?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, fine. Now, don't forget to be back here by midnight. We'll watch and open the door for you.
Right.
We got 2 more crates for you to deliver. Get going.
There she is now.
Hoagland's girl, huh? You'll sure be surprised.
We'll take care of him, too. Later.
Should be a cinch. Let's go. What's the matter?
They tried to kill me.
Who tried to... What are you talking about?
This big truck, they actually tried to kill me.
Why, Helen, dear, what's the trouble?
Well, this big truck tried to run over me, and I ran, and I know it has something to do with Bob. I
Bob?
know it has. Yes, Bob. How could all this
Oh,
happen?
darling, come on in and have some hot coffee.
I better call Jim.
Look, your girl told us she'd be giving you cargo information. What'd you use it for? Who'd you give it to?
What's the difference? So maybe I did give a guy a tip who tried to beat the market. Is that illegal?
Quit stalling, mister. I've seen the insurance records.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I had nothing to do with that. I just gave a guy a tip.
Well, let me tell you something. A couple of hours ago, somebody tried to kill Helen Anderson by using your truck to try to drive over her.
You're lying.
Dad, will you come in a minute, please? Will you tell Vogel what happened to Helen tonight? He won't believe me.
Jim's right. Helen almost got killed.
Just what kind of man are you? Who you protecting?
Never mind that. How's Helen?
She's okay now, scared out of her wits. Mrs. Herrick took her home.
Are you sure this wasn't an accident?
It wasn't any accident. She was on her way to talk to me. Somebody must have found out she knew something.
You know, Helen only told us about you because she was so hysterical she didn't know what she was saying. But just how long do you think they'll let you and her walk around? Now, if you tell me what you know, there's still a good chance for you and Helen to make a go of it. You know, she's still in love with you, but frankly speaking, I don't know why.
Okay. I don't know who's at the top or where they are. Headquarters keep moving. But tonight is still at the warehouse on Lower Front Street. And the man in charge there, his name is...
About time. Reese, there's something funny about this. Vogelin may be a problem, but he's never late.
It's 35 minutes late.
Well, I suppose you're all wondering why I'm late. The motorboat was 40 minutes late.
Vogelin, they've never messed up a schedule yet.
You know me, Steve. I'm always on time.
That's just it, Bob. Suppose you stop right where you are.
What's the idea, Steve?
Just want to make sure there's nothing unusual in that truck. Vince?
Thank you, Joe.
I don't know who's over him. But give me 5 minutes more, and I'll find out.
Thanks anyway, but I don't think we're going to have any more trouble. Let's go.
As far as Helen's concerned, she didn't commit any crime. Bob completely exonerated her.
But what about Bob?
Well, he'll probably get off with a light sentence. You know, it was his confession that led Jim to the warehouse.
Why did he do it? I just can't understand it.
I can. And here comes the reason, right now, across the street. His ever-loving mother-in-law. Now, he probably had to choose between doing away with her and stealing enough to get her own apartment so he and Helen could live in peace. Some guys always take the easy way. I'll see you, honey. Well, we hope you enjoyed tonight's story, and that you'll be with us next week for another episode of Waterfront.